Sarah Michelle Patterson disappeared on March 15, 2009, while riding her bicycle to Riverside High School in Cedar Creek, Texas. The 16-year-old junior left her family home at 7:20 a.m. that Monday morning, following the same route she had taken to school for 2 years. She never arrived at her first period chemistry class. According to her mother, Linda Patterson, Sarah had woken up at 6:45 a.m. as usual. She ate breakfast in the kitchen with her younger brother Marcus, who was 14 at the time. Linda Patterson recalled that Sarah seemed normal that morning, discussing an upcoming history test scheduled for Wednesday. Sarah's father, Robert Patterson, had already left for his job at the Cedar Creek Municipal Water Department by the time Sarah departed for school. The Patterson family lived in a modest 2-story house on Elm Street, approximately 2 miles from Riverside High School. Sarah's typical route took her east on Elm Street, then south on Main Street through downtown Cedar Creek, before turning east again on School Road. The entire journey usually took her between 15 and 20 minutes, depending on traffic at the 2 stop signs along Main Street. Cedar Creek, Texas, had a population of 8,147, according to the 2010 census. The town sits in Henderson County, roughly 90 miles southeast of Dallas. Main Street featured typical small-town businesses including Patterson's Hardware Store, owned by Sarah's uncle David Patterson, Cedar Creek Diner, First National Bank, and Murphy's Pharmacy. The downtown area consisted of 3 blocks of single-story brick buildings constructed in the 1950s and 1960s. Sarah was described by family members as responsible and punctual. Her mother stated that Sarah had never missed school without permission and always called if she was going to be late. Linda Patterson worked as a receptionist at Cedar Creek Family Medicine, while Robert Patterson had been employed by the Municipal Water Department for 12 years. Marcus Patterson was a freshman at the same high school his sister attended. According to school records, Sarah maintained a 3.2 grade point average. Her guidance counselor, Mrs. Janet Reynolds, described Sarah as quiet but engaged in her studies. Sarah participated in the school's Future Farmers of America chapter and worked part-time on weekends at her uncle's hardware store. Mrs. Reynolds stated that Sarah had expressed interest in studying agricultural science at Texas A&M University after graduation. The bicycle Sarah rode to school was a blue Trek mountain bike, purchased used from Patterson's hardware store in August 2007. According to her father, the bike was in good mechanical condition. Sarah always wore a black helmet while riding, as required by her parents. She typically carried her school supplies in a gray backpack she had received as a Christmas gift in December 2008. Sarah's friends at Riverside High School included Jennifer Martinez, Amy Thompson, and Melissa Davis. According to Jennifer Martinez, Sarah had seemed normal on Friday, March 13th, the last day they spoke before the disappearance. The group of friends usually sat together during lunch in the school cafeteria. Jennifer Martinez stated that Sarah mentioned looking forward to spring break, which was scheduled to begin the following week. On the morning of March 15th, several neighbors reported seeing Sarah riding her bicycle along her usual route. Mrs. Helen Foster, who lived on Elm Street 3 houses down from the Patterson family, stated she saw Sarah riding past her home at approximately 7:25 a.m. Mrs. Foster was watering plants in her front yard at the time. She described Sarah as riding at a normal pace and wearing her black helmet. Tom Bradley, owner of Cedar Creek Diner, reported seeing Sarah ride past his establishment on Main Street around 7:30 a.m. Mr. Bradley was unlocking the front door of his restaurant when he noticed Sarah waiting at the stop sign at the intersection of Main Street and Church Street. He stated that Sarah appeared to be checking for traffic before proceeding south on Main Street, which was her normal behavior. The last confirmed sighting of Sarah came from Gary Thompson, a delivery driver for Henderson County Propane. Mr. Thompson stated he was driving north on Main Street when he saw Sarah riding south at approximately 7:32 a.m. She was approaching the intersection of Main Street and School Road, less than half a mile from Riverside High School. Mr. Thompson knew Sarah because she was friends with his daughter Amy Thompson. Riverside High School's first period began at 8 a.m. Sarah's chemistry teacher, Mr. David Martinez, marked her absent when she failed to appear for class. According to school policy, the attendance office called the Patterson home at 9:15 a.m. to report Sarah's absence. Linda Patterson received the call at her workplace and immediately contacted her husband. The Patterson family began searching for Sarah around 9:45 a.m. Robert Patterson drove the route between their home and the school, while Linda Patterson called Sarah's friends. None of Sarah's classmates had seen her that morning. By 10:30 a.m., the family had contacted the Cedar Creek Police Department to report Sarah as missing. Cedar Creek Police Chief William Santos assigned Officer Michael Rodriguez to investigate Sarah's disappearance. Officer Rodriguez had been with the department for 8 years and had handled 3 previous missing person cases, all of which involved runaway teenagers who returned home within 48 hours. According to police records, Officer Rodriguez began by interviewing the Patterson family and searching the route between their home and school. The search for physical evidence began at 11:00 a.m. on March 15th. Officer Rodriguez was joined by Deputy Sheriff Karen Williams from the Henderson County Sheriff's Department. The 2 officers drove and walked along Sarah's typical route, looking for any signs of her bicycle or personal belongings. They found no evidence along Elm Street or the first 2 blocks of Main Street. At 12:15 p.m., Officer Rodriguez discovered Sarah's bicycle in a wooded area adjacent to Willow Creek, approximately 200 yards east of School Road. The bike was found leaning against a large oak tree, roughly 30 feet from the creek bank. Sarah's black helmet was hanging from the handlebars. Her gray backpack was found nearby, containing her school textbooks, notebooks, and a calculator. No signs of struggle were evident at the location, according to the police report. The discovery location was not visible from School Road due to thick vegetation and trees. Officer Rodriguez noted that someone would have had to walk or carry the bicycle into the wooded area deliberately. The bike showed no signs of damage, and both tires remained properly inflated. Sarah's school supplies appeared undisturbed inside her backpack. Chief Santos contacted the Texas Department of Public Safety for additional resources. By 2:00 p.m., 12 law enforcement officers from various agencies were involved in the search. The Henderson County Emergency Management Coordinator activated the county's search and rescue protocol. Volunteer firefighters from Cedar Creek and 2 neighboring communities joined the search effort. The initial search focused on a 2-square-mile area surrounding the location where Sarah's bicycle was found. Search teams included K-9 units from the Texas Department of Public Safety and trained volunteers from Henderson County Search and Rescue. The team searched through dense woods, along Willow Creek, and in nearby fields, until darkness made further searching unsafe. According to family members, Sarah had never run away from home and had no history of behavioral problems. Linda Patterson stated that Sarah had been looking forward to spring break activities and had made plans to spend time with her friends. Robert Patterson confirmed that Sarah had not seemed upset or troubled in the days leading up to her disappearance. Sarah's uncle, David Patterson, organized a community search effort that began on March 16th. More than 150 volunteers participated, including students and teachers from Riverside High School, members of local churches, and business owners from downtown Cedar Creek. The volunteers distributed flyers with Sarah's photograph throughout Henderson County and neighboring counties. The Cedar Creek Police Department established a tip hotline and assigned Detective Lisa Chen to serve as the primary investigator. Detective Chen had 15 years of experience in criminal investigations and had previously worked on missing person cases with the Houston Police Department before joining the Cedar Creek Force in 2007. She began conducting formal interviews with Sarah's family members, friends, and teachers. According to Detective Chen's initial report, no evidence suggested that Sarah had planned to disappear voluntarily. Her personal belongings, including clothing and money, remained in her bedroom at home. Sarah had not accessed her savings account at First National Bank, which contained $347 she had earned working at her uncle's hardware store. School officials confirmed that Sarah had been attending classes regularly and had not expressed any intention to leave Cedar Creek. The investigation expanded to include interviews with all residents and business owners along Sarah's route to school. Detective Chen spoke with 43 individuals during the first week of the investigation. Most reported seeing nothing unusual on the morning of March 15th. However, 3 witnesses mentioned seeing an unfamiliar pickup truck in the area around the time Sarah would have been riding to school. Mrs. Dorothy Evans, who lived on School Road, reported seeing a dark-colored pickup truck parked near the intersection of School Road and Willow Creek Road at approximately 7:45 a.m. She stated the truck was not familiar to her, though she acknowledged not knowing every vehicle in the community. Mrs. Evans could not provide a detailed description of the truck or its occupant. The Patterson family appeared on local television news programs requesting information about Sarah's disappearance. Linda Patterson made emotional appeals for her daughter's safe return, while Robert Patterson offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to Sarah's location. The reward money was contributed by family members and community supporters. By the end of March 2009, the Cedar Creek Police Department had received over 200 tips related to Sarah's disappearance. Detective Chen investigated each report, but none provided credible leads to Sarah's whereabouts. The Texas Rangers assigned Agent Thomas Mitchell to assist with the investigation, due to the possibility that the case involved interstate activity or other circumstances beyond local jurisdiction. The morning of March 15, 2009, began like any other Monday in the Patterson household on Elm Street. According to Linda Patterson, she woke up at 6:30 a.m. and started preparing breakfast, while her husband Robert got ready for work at the Cedar Creek Municipal Water Department. Sarah came downstairs at 6:45 a.m., wearing blue jeans and a white long-sleeved shirt, her typical school attire according to her mother's statement to police. Marcus Patterson, Sarah's 14-year-old brother, joined them in the kitchen around 6:50 a.m. Linda Patterson told investigators that the family ate breakfast together, consisting of cereal and toast. She recalled Sarah mentioning her chemistry test scheduled for that Wednesday, and asking if she could use the family computer that evening to research information for a history project due the following week. Robert Patterson left for work at 7:05 a.m., kissing his wife and children goodbye as he did every morning. Linda Patterson stated that Robert seemed in good spirits and made his usual joke about Marcus eating too much cereal. Sarah finished her breakfast and went upstairs to brush her teeth and gather her school supplies. According to her mother, this routine was identical to every other school day. At 7:15 a.m., Sarah came back downstairs carrying her gray backpack and black helmet. Linda Patterson was washing dishes at the kitchen sink when Sarah announced she was leaving for school. Mrs. Patterson told police that she called out goodbye from the kitchen, but did not see Sarah leave through the front door. This was their normal interaction on school mornings, as Linda typically remained in the kitchen cleaning up after breakfast. Marcus Patterson provided the last account of seeing his sister that morning. According to his statement to Detective Chen, he was watching television in the living room when Sarah walked through carrying her backpack. Marcus stated that Sarah said goodbye to him, and he responded without looking away from the television program. He estimated the time as approximately 7:18 a.m. based on the show he was watching. Sarah retrieved her blue Trek bicycle from the family's garage and began her familiar route to Riverside High School. The garage door was found open when Robert Patterson returned home for lunch at 11:30 a.m., which was unusual according to family members. However, Linda Patterson acknowledged that Sarah sometimes forgot to close the garage door after taking out her bicycle. Mrs. Helen Foster, the neighbor 3 houses down on Elm Street, provided crucial testimony about Sarah's departure. Mrs. Foster was outside watering her front garden when she saw Sarah riding past her home. According to Mrs. Foster's police statement, Sarah waved at her as she had done on previous mornings. Mrs. Foster noted that Sarah appeared to be riding at her normal speed and seemed in good spirits. She placed the time at approximately 7:25 a.m. The next confirmed sighting occurred at the Cedar Creek Diner on Main Street. Owner Tom Bradley was unlocking his restaurant's front door when he observed Sarah waiting at the stop sign at Main Street and Church Street intersection. Mr. Bradley had seen Sarah pass his business on numerous previous mornings and recognized her immediately. He stated that Sarah looked both ways for traffic before proceeding south on Main Street, demonstrating her usual cautious behavior. Mr. Bradley's statement indicated this occurred around 7:30 a.m. Gary Thompson, driving a Henderson County propane delivery truck, provided the final confirmed sighting of Sarah. Mr. A.U. Thompson was traveling north on Main Street when he saw Sarah riding southbound, approaching the intersection of Main Street and School Road. He recognized Sarah because his daughter Amy was one of her close friends at school. Mr. Thompson told investigators that Sarah appeared to be riding normally and showed no signs of distress. He estimated the time as 7:32 a.m. based on his delivery schedule records. The distance from this final sighting location to Riverside High School was approximately 0.4 miles along School Road. Under normal circumstances, Sarah would have arrived at school by 7:40 a.m., giving her 20 minutes before the 8 a.m. first period bell. However, Sarah never reached her destination. At Riverside High School, first period chemistry teacher David Martinez began taking attendance at 8 a.m. sharp. When Sarah's name was called, no response came from her usual seat in the third row. Mr. Martinez marked Sarah absent on his attendance sheet, noting that this was unusual since Sarah had only missed 2 days of school during the entire academic year, both due to documented illness. School policy required the attendance office to contact parents of absent students by 9:15 a.m. Secretary Martha Wilson placed the call to the Patterson home at exactly 9:17 a.m. according to school phone records. When no one answered at the residence, Mrs. Wilson called Linda Patterson at her workplace, Cedar Creek Family Medicine, at 9:22 a.m. Linda Patterson received the call while assisting a patient at the medical office. According to her statement, she immediately felt concerned because Sarah had never missed school without permission. Mrs. Patterson told investigators that she initially wondered if Sarah might have become sick at school, but Mrs. Wilson explained that Sarah had not arrived at all. After ending the call with the school, Linda Patterson immediately telephoned her husband at the municipal water department. Robert Patterson was testing water samples at the treatment facility when he received his wife's call at 9:28 a.m. According to Robert's statement, he initially suggested that perhaps Sarah had forgotten something at home and returned to retrieve it, causing her to be late for school. Linda Patterson left her workplace at 9:35 a.m. after explaining the situation to Dr. James Morrison, her employer. She drove directly home to check if Sarah had returned. Finding no sign of her daughter, Linda called several of Sarah's friends, including Jennifer Martinez, Amy Thompson, and Melissa Davis. None of Sarah's friends had seen her that morning, and all confirmed they expected to see her in their shared classes. Robert Patterson obtained permission to leave work early and arrived home at 9:50 a.m. He immediately began driving Sarah's typical route to school, looking carefully along both sides of the road for any sign of his daughter or her bicycle. Robert drove the route 3 times, expanding his search to include side streets and nearby areas where Sarah might have stopped. By 10:15 a.m., both parents had returned home without finding any trace of Sarah. Linda Patterson contacted Jennifer Martinez's mother, asking her to check with other families in case Sarah had gone to a friend's house. Mrs. Martinez confirmed that Jennifer was already at school and had not seen Sarah since the previous Friday. The Patterson family made the decision to contact law enforcement at 10:30 a.m. Linda Patterson placed the call to the Cedar Creek Police Department, speaking with dispatcher Ruth Coleman. According to the dispatch log, Mrs. Patterson reported that her 16-year-old daughter had failed to arrive at school and could not be located. Dispatcher Coleman assigned the case to Officer Michael Rodriguez, who was instructed to respond immediately to the Patterson residence. Officer Rodriguez arrived at the Patterson home at 10:45 a.m. He had been with the Cedar Creek Police Department for 8 years and had handled 12 missing person cases during his tenure, though most involved adults or runaway teenagers who returned home within 2 days. Officer Rodriguez began by interviewing Linda and Robert Patterson separately to gather detailed information about Sarah's routine and recent behavior. During the initial interview, Linda Patterson provided Officer Rodriguez with a recent photograph of Sarah and a detailed description of her clothing and bicycle. She emphasized that Sarah was extremely responsible and had never failed to notify the family if she would be late or absent from school. Mrs. Patterson also confirmed that Sarah had not seemed upset or troubled in recent days. Robert Patterson's interview revealed that Sarah had not expressed any desire to leave home or skip school. He stated that Sarah was looking forward to spring break and had made plans to spend time with friends and work extra hours at her uncle's hardware store. Mr. Patterson also confirmed that no family conflicts or disciplinary issues existed that might motivate Sarah to run away. Officer Rodriguez contacted Riverside High School at 11:20 a.m. to verify Sarah's absence and speak with school personnel. Principal Margaret Stevens confirmed that Sarah was an excellent student with no behavioral problems or attendance issues. Mrs. Stevens also stated that no other students had reported seeing Sarah that morning, and no unusual incidents had occurred at the school. At 11:30 a.m., Officer Rodriguez began systematically searching Sarah's route to school. He drove slowly along Elm Street, Main Street, and School Road, examining both sides of the roadway for any evidence. The officer also checked with several businesses along Main Street, asking owners and employees if they had observed anything unusual that morning. Meanwhile, Robert Patterson contacted his brother David, who owned Patterson's hardware store on Main Street. David Patterson immediately closed his business and joined the search effort. The two brothers expanded the search to include areas beyond Sarah's normal route, checking nearby residential streets and the small commercial district adjacent to downtown Cedar Creek. The breakthrough in the search came at 12:15 p.m., when Officer Rodriguez discovered Sarah's bicycle. The blue Trek mountain bike was found in a wooded area approximately 200 yards east of School Road, near Willow Creek. The bicycle was leaning against a large oak tree, roughly 30 feet from the creek bank. Sarah's black helmet hung from the handlebars, and her gray backpack lay on the ground nearby. Officer Rodriguez immediately secured the scene and radioed for backup assistance. Detective Lisa Chen and Chief William Santos arrived at the location within 10 minutes. The area was photographed and examined for any signs of struggle or additional evidence. According to the police report, the ground showed no obvious signs of disturbance, and Sarah's belongings appeared to have been placed rather than dropped. The backpack contained Sarah's school textbooks, notebooks, pencils, and a calculator. All items appeared undamaged and properly arranged within the backpack compartments. Detective Chen noted that Sarah's wallet was not present in the backpack, though family members later confirmed that Sarah typically carried her wallet in her front pants pocket rather than in her school bag. Chief Santos contacted the Texas Department of Public Safety at 12:45 p.m. to request additional resources for what was now being treated as a potential criminal investigation. The Henderson County Sheriff's Department was also notified, and Deputy Sheriff Karen Williams was assigned to assist with the expanded search effort. Robert and Linda Patterson were brought to the scene at 1 p.m. to confirm that the bicycle and belongings belonged to their daughter. Both parents positively identified the items. Linda Patterson became visibly upset upon seeing Sarah's helmet hanging from the bicycle, telling investigators that Sarah always wore her helmet while riding, as required by family rules. The search area was expanded to include a 2-square-mile radius around the location where Sarah's bicycle was discovered. By 2:00 p.m., 12 law enforcement officers from multiple agencies were involved in the systematic search. The Henderson County Emergency Management Office activated its search and rescue protocol, bringing in trained volunteers and specialized equipment. K-9 units from the Texas Department of Public Safety arrived at 2:30 p.m. with 2 German Shepherd dogs trained in tracking missing persons. The dogs were given Sarah's scent from clothing taken from her bedroom and began searching the wooded area around Willow Creek. Despite extensive searching throughout the afternoon, the dogs found no trail leading away from where the bicycle was discovered. As news of Sarah's disappearance spread throughout Cedar Creek, community members began arriving at the search site to offer assistance. Volunteer firefighters from Cedar Creek and neighboring Oakwood joined the effort, bringing additional personnel and equipment. Local business owners closed their establishments early to participate in the search. The Patterson family established a communication center at their Elm Street home, coordinating with law enforcement and managing the growing number of volunteers. Linda Patterson's sister, Carol Jenkins, traveled from Dallas to assist the family and help care for Marcus, who was excused from school for the remainder of the week. By evening, more than 60 people were involved in the search effort. Volunteers with flashlights and portable lanterns continued searching through the woods along Willow Creek until 9:00 p.m., when Chief Santos declared the area too dangerous for nighttime searching by untrained personnel. Professional search teams continued their work using specialized lighting equipment until 11:00 p.m. Detective Chen concluded the first day by interviewing the 3 witnesses who had provided the final confirmed sightings of Sarah: Mrs. Foster, Mr. Bradley, and Mr. E. Thompson. All confirmed their previous statements and provided additional details about their observations. None reported seeing any unusual vehicles or suspicious activity in the area that morning. The case was officially classified as a missing person investigation with potential criminal elements. Detective Chen was designated as the primary investigator, with support from Texas Ranger Agent Thomas Mitchell, who was assigned to the case due to the possibility of interstate implications. A command post was established at the Cedar Creek Police Department, to coordinate ongoing search and investigative activities. As the first day ended, the Patterson family faced the reality that Sarah had not simply been delayed or temporarily lost. The discovery of her bicycle and belongings in the remote wooded area suggested that something had prevented her from completing her routine journey to school. The investigation was just beginning, but the community of Cedar Creek had already mobilized in an unprecedented effort to find Sarah Patterson and bring her home safely. The search for Sarah Patterson intensified during the second week of March 2009, as Detective Lisa Chen expanded the investigation beyond the immediate area of Cedar Creek. The Henderson County Sheriff's Department provided additional resources, including a helicopter for aerial surveillance of the dense woodland areas surrounding Willow Creek. Texas Ranger Agent Thomas Mitchell arrived on March 18th to coordinate with local law enforcement agencies. According to Detective Chen's case files, the investigation initially focused on three primary theories: voluntary disappearance, accidental harm, or criminal involvement by an unknown individual. Each possibility required different investigative approaches and resources. The detective began conducting extensive interviews with Sarah's family members, friends, teachers, and anyone who had contact with her during the weeks before her disappearance. Sarah's best friend, Jennifer Martinez, provided detailed information about Sarah's state of mind during their last conversation on Friday, March 13th. According to Jennifer's statement, Sarah had seemed excited about the upcoming spring break and had mentioned wanting to earn extra money working at her uncle's hardware store. Jennifer told investigators that Sarah never expressed any desire to leave Cedar Creek or skip school and had been looking forward to taking her driving test after turning 17 in May. The investigation revealed that Sarah had maintained consistent patterns in her daily routine for nearly 2 years. Amy Thompson, another close friend, confirmed that Sarah always took the same route to school and was never late for first period. Amy's father, Gary Thompson, who had provided the last confirmed sighting of Sarah, stated that he had seen her riding to school dozens of times, and nothing appeared different about her behavior that Monday morning. Detective Chen interviewed all of Sarah's teachers at Riverside High School. Chemistry teacher David Martinez reported that Sarah was a dedicated student who participated actively in class discussions. Her history teacher, Mrs. Sandra Walsh, confirmed that Sarah had submitted all assignments on time and was prepared for the test scheduled that Wednesday. No teacher reported any changes in Sarah's academic performance or social interactions. The search efforts during the third week of March covered an area of approximately 10 square miles around Cedar Creek. Volunteers from neighboring communities joined the effort, organized by the Henderson County Search and Rescue Team. According to Chief Santos, more than 300 people participated in various search activities, including systematic ground searches, water searches along Willow Creek, and door-to-door inquiries throughout the county. Texas Department of Public Safety crime scene investigators conducted a thorough examination of the area where Sarah's bicycle was found. The forensic team collected soil samples, photographed tire impressions, and searched for any physical evidence that might indicate what happened to Sarah. Agent Mitchell confirmed that the bicycle showed no signs of damage or struggle, suggesting it had been placed in the location deliberately. The Patterson family established a tip hotline with assistance from the Henderson County Emergency Management Office. During the first month of the investigation, the hotline received over 400 calls from people reporting possible sightings of Sarah or suspicious activities in the area. Detective Chen investigated each report, but none provided credible leads to Sarah's whereabouts. Several witnesses reported seeing unfamiliar vehicles in the Cedar Creek area on March 15th. Mrs. Dorothy Evans, who lived on School Road, maintained her account of seeing a dark pickup truck near the intersection of School Road and Willow Creek Road around 7:45 a.m. Two other residents, Mike Harrison and Janet Foster, also reported seeing vehicles they did not recognize, though their descriptions varied significantly. The investigation expanded to include background checks on all registered truck owners in Henderson County and surrounding areas. Agent Mitchell coordinated with the Texas Department of Motor Vehicles to identify owners of dark-colored pickup trucks registered within a 50-mile radius of Cedar Creek. This process generated a list of over 800 vehicles, requiring extensive follow-up investigations. Detective Chen interviewed dozens of truck owners during April 2009. Most provided alibis for their whereabouts on the morning of March 15th, supported by employment records or family members. Several individuals underwent voluntary polygraph examinations to assist with the investigation. No evidence linked any of the truck owners to Sarah's disappearance. The Patterson family worked closely with local media to maintain public awareness of Sarah's case. Linda and Robert Patterson appeared on television news programs in Dallas and Tyler, distributing photographs and requesting information from viewers. The family also created missing person flyers that were distributed throughout East Texas and posted on community bulletin boards. By May 2009, the reward for information leading to Sarah's safe return had grown to $15,000, contributed by family members, local businesses, and community supporters. Patterson's hardware store, owned by Sarah's uncle David, served as a collection point for donations and a coordination center for volunteer activities. David Patterson told investigators that the community response had been overwhelming, with people calling from across Texas to offer assistance. School officials at Riverside High School organized memorial activities to honor Sarah and maintain hope for her return. Principal Margaret Stevens established a scholarship fund in Sarah's name for students pursuing agricultural science degrees. Sarah's classmates created a memory garden on the school campus, planting flowers and placing a bench near the main entrance. The investigation revealed no evidence of romantic relationships or social conflicts that might explain Sarah's disappearance. Her guidance counselor, Mrs. Janet Reynolds, confirmed that Sarah had not mentioned any problems with other students or adults. Sarah's part-time employer, David Patterson, stated that Sarah was reliable and well-liked by customers at the hardware store. Detective Chen examined Sarah's school records and medical history for any indication of personal problems or health issues. Sarah's pediatrician, Dr. Margaret Collins, confirmed that Sarah was in good physical health and had no history of mental health treatment. School counseling records showed no documentation of academic or social difficulties. The Texas Rangers conducted interviews with convicted offenders in the region who had histories of crimes against young people. Agent Mitchell coordinated with parole officers and probation departments to account for the whereabouts of individuals who might pose a threat to teenagers. This process eliminated several potential suspects, but generated no new leads in Sarah's case. During the summer of 2009, search efforts continued with assistance from specialized volunteer organizations. The Texas EquiSearch mounted search team conducted surveys of remote areas that were difficult to access on foot. The organization's founder, Tim Miller, personally participated in several search operations around Cedar Creek, bringing national attention to Sarah's disappearance. The Patterson family struggled with the emotional impact of the prolonged investigation. Linda Patterson took extended leave from her job at Cedar Creek Family Medicine to focus on search efforts and coordinate with law enforcement. Robert Patterson continued working, but spent evenings and weekends distributing flyers and organizing volunteer activities. Marcus Patterson returned to school in the fall, but required counseling support to cope with his sister's absence. By the first anniversary of Sarah's disappearance in March 2010, Detective Chen had investigated over 200 tips and conducted more than 150 interviews. The case file contained thousands of pages of reports, witness statements, and forensic analyses. Despite the extensive investigation, no credible evidence had emerged to explain what happened to Sarah after she was last seen approaching School Road. The Henderson County District Attorney's Office reviewed the case file and determined that insufficient evidence existed to pursue criminal charges against any individual. District Attorney Robert Hayes acknowledged the thorough work conducted by law enforcement agencies, but stated that the investigation would continue as an active missing person case. Detective Chen retired from the Cedar Creek Police Department in 2012, turning over Sarah's case to Detective Mark Williams. The new investigator reviewed all existing evidence and conducted follow-up interviews with key witnesses. Detective Williams confirmed that no new information had emerged that might change the direction of the investigation. The Patterson family maintained their efforts to find Sarah through social media and online missing person networks. Linda Patterson created a Facebook page dedicated to Sarah's case, posting updates about the investigation and sharing information about other missing persons. The page attracted followers from across the United States and several foreign countries. In 2015, Advances in forensic technology prompted Detective Williams to resubmit physical evidence from the case for additional testing. The Texas Department of Public Safety Crime Laboratory conducted DNA analysis on items collected from the scene where Sarah's bicycle was found. The results did not identify any unknown DNA profiles that might provide investigative leads. The case received renewed attention in 2018 when a true crime podcast featured Sarah's disappearance. The podcast generated hundreds of new tips, but none provided credible information about Sarah's fate. Detective Williams investigated each report systematically, maintaining hope that fresh perspectives might reveal overlooked details. Local law enforcement agencies periodically conducted additional searches of areas around Cedar Creek, particularly during times when water levels in Willow Creek were low due to seasonal conditions. These efforts were coordinated with the Texas Department of Parks and Wildlife and utilized ground-penetrating radar technology to examine locations that had not been accessible during the initial investigation. The Patterson family never stopped believing that answers about Sarah's disappearance might eventually emerge. Robert Patterson told reporters in 2020 that the family remained committed to finding the truth, regardless of how much time had passed. Linda Patterson continued working with other families of missing persons, providing support and advocacy for ongoing investigations. By 2023, Sarah's case had been transferred to the Henderson County Cold Case Unit, a specialized division created to investigate unsolved crimes using modern technology and investigative techniques. Detective Sarah Mitchell, no relation to the retired Texas Ranger, was assigned as the primary investigator. She began reviewing the case file with fresh perspective, looking for connections or evidence that previous investigators might have missed. The community of Cedar Creek had never forgotten Sarah Patterson. An annual memorial walk was held each March 15th, with participants following Sarah's route from Elm Street to the location where her bicycle was found. Local businesses continued to display Sarah's photograph and missing person information, maintaining hope that someone might eventually provide the key to solving the mystery of her disappearance.